the 28th of June, 1914. A 19-year-old boy, 1 bullet, and 9.5 million soldiers were dead within 4 years. But here is what nobody tells you. The assassination almost didn't happen. It failed the first time. And if it had stayed failed World War, one would never have started. This is the story they don't teach in school. To understand what happened, you need to understand one thing. Nobody wanted this war, not really. The leaders of Europe in 1914 were all cousins. Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany, Tsar Nicholas II of Russia, King George V of Britain, all 3 cousins, all 3 grandchildren of Queen Victoria. They wrote letters to each other. They called each other Willie and Nicky. And within 6 weeks, they had sent millions of their own people to die. The 28th of June, 1914, Sarajevo. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was visiting the city. 7 assassins were waiting, armed, positioned, ready to kill. The first assassin threw a bomb. It bounced off the car, exploded under the next vehicle. The Archduke survived. The assassination had failed. Franz Ferdinand was shaken, but alive. His driver was given new orders: take a different route, back to safety. But the driver didn't know the new route. He made a wrong turn and stopped to reverse directly in front of a 19-year-old boy named Gavrilo Princip, who was sitting in a cafe having given up, thinking the mission had failed. He looked up. The Archduke was 3 feet away. He fired twice. Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie were dead, and the world would never be the same. Here is what happened next. Austro-Hungary blamed Serbia. Serbia called Russia for help. Russia mobilized its army. Germany, fearing Russia, declared war on Russia. France, allied with Russia, was next. Britain pledged to protect Belgium's neutrality. Watch Germany invade Belgium and declared war. In 6 weeks, a wrong turn by a driver had set the entire world on fire. 6 million men marched to war. Most of them thought it would be over by Christmas. It lasted 4 years. Here is the part that will shock you. The war introduced weapons nobody had ever seen before. On the 22nd of April, 1915, German engineers released clouds of chlorine gas along a 4-mile front. Soldiers had never faced anything like it. Green-yellow clouds drifting toward them. Those without gas masks stuffed urine-soaked rags into their mouths. To survive, and then, on the ground, something even more terrifying: flamethrowers. Burning liquid shot 30 meters, incinerating everything. But here is what nobody talks about. The soldiers who operated flamethrowers had a life expectancy of minutes on the battlefield because every enemy soldier targeted them first. They were walking firebombs, and they volunteered anyway. Here is another story they never told you. Christmas, 1914. The war was 5 months old. 1 million soldiers were already dead. And on Christmas Eve, something impossible happened. Along the Western Front, German soldiers began singing Christmas carols from their trenches. British soldiers, confused, listened, and then they sang back. The next morning, both sides climbed out of their trenches into no man's land, the killing zone between them. They exchanged gifts, chocolate, cigarettes, buttons. They played football, no orders, no permission. Just men who had been trying to kill each other, choosing for one day to be human. Military commanders on both sides ordered it to never happen again, but the soldiers never forgot. Here is the number that will stay with you. 9.5 million soldiers killed, 21 million wounded, 7 million civilians dead, and the war ended at exactly 11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. Summerno decided the timing was poetic, so fighting continued. Until that exact moment, 1,500 men died. On the last morning, after the armistice had already been signed, the last soldier killed in World War I was shot at 10:59 a.m., 1 minute before the war ended. His name was Henry Gunther. He charged a German machine gun position, even as the German soldiers waved at him to stop, trying to tell him the war was over. He didn't stop. He died at 10:59, 1 minute later. The guns fell silent. After 4 years, 9.5 million dead, started by a wrong turn, ended by a clock. And the peace treaty that followed was so brutal, so humiliating to Germany, that it made another world war inevitable. The terms of Versailles planted the seeds of Adolf Hitler's rise. World War I didn't end a war, it started the next one. This file is now closed. File number 0006, case closed. But there are more files that governments are still trying to keep sealed. File number 007 is already being prepared. Subscribe so you don't miss it.